Now, the time's 8:24, and 18-year-old Scott Wall thought his independence had gone forever after an accident which meant part of his leg was amputated.
But now he's one of the first people in Britain to have been fitted with a bionic foot, which has really changed his life. Now, correspondent Judith Moritz is in Cheadle. She can tell us more. Good morning, Judith.
Yes, good morning. This is the clinic which has been treating Scott, and Scott's here with me, 18-year-old Scott Wall. And Scott, as you walk along here up this ramp, you were involved in a hit-and-run accident last year. You've had this bionic foot fitted. How's it been helping you?
Well, I've got complications with my right leg, so it actually helps with the restrictions on my right leg and helps me walk a lot easier.
OK. Sit down for me, because we're going to demonstrate how this works. Now, as well as you here, we've got Toby Carlsson. Toby, you're the prosthetic expert who's been helping Scott. So just show us, first of all, the pair of you, if you can. And Toby, if you could perhaps explain how this foot works for us.
Well, this foot is different from conventional prosthetic feet in that it's an active device, so it will respond to changes in its environment. So if Scott, for instance, now moves his foot out slightly, it will then drop the toes in a response to that position. If Scott then moves his leg backwards, as if he was preparing himself to stand up, it will lift the toes up to put him in the optimal position. As he then stands upright, it will readjust itself into a neutral position for walking with. And whereas we can see these changes now as they're going on, during normal gait, they're actually very, very subtle and it wouldn't be terribly noticeable. But to Scott, it makes a big difference because the foot recognises the type of terrain that he moves on and makes the appropriate adjustments very swiftly to that.
Now, the point is, isn't it, Toby, that previously the sort of foot that someone like Scott would have been fitted with wouldn't have moved at all? It
wouldn't. It will have an inherent flexibility in it, but essentially this is a fairly sophisticated prosthetic foot of the old generation. It's a completely passive device that only responds to mechanical impact or mechanical input. It has no processing power. It doesn't recognise anything. And what happens with that is that if we were, for instance, to stand it on this surface, it will lean backwards. It will never adjust to accommodate any changes, whereas this will accommodate changes in the terrain in such a way that the prosthesis is always put in the optimal position. So we've now given this a command to realign itself for the new environment, and we're now waiting for that to happen. It will carry out the adjustment now. OK, all right, so very quickly before we go, Scott, I know that you had hopes before the accident of playing basketball, doing all those sorts of things. You're not at that stage yet, but you're hoping to be.
It's early stages yet, but hopefully in the future I might be able to do a lot more sport and get back into it and what have you. So it's definitely a big improvement. OK, well, best of luck with that and with the rest of your recovery. And Scott here is only one of, we understand, 3 people in the whole country at this stage trialling these feet. And the hope is that in time this will become the norm. More and more patients who've had limbs amputated will be able to take advantage of this sort of technology. Back to you.
Great story. Thank you very much indeed, Judith. All our best to Scott as well there. Thank you.